So that's a strategy that I wanted to do getting into it, right? But I learned also to put a property under contract, you need at least what, 4,000 or 5,000, is that correct?
It's not an amount, it's a percentage.
Mm.
So it's a percent. So it's a percentage. Typically you put an EMD. It's an earnest money deposit down, right? So like, let's say if you have a house for $100,000, right? And you know that house, and it's so nuanced, it's so layered. But just kind of giving you a highlight reel. It's like, yo, I have a house that I know Riley's aunt is trying to sell her house. She wants to go to South Carolina, right? She's a motivated seller, right? So I identify that. I'm like, hey, I'll buy your house for $100,000, right? And she's like, all right, I'll sell it to you for $100,000. But I know that if somebody goes and puts $60,000, they can sell a house for $300,000, right? But I don't have the finances. I don't have the capacity to do that. So it's like, all right, I'm not the guy that's going to sell it for $300,000, but I know that guy that sells it for $300,000 is willing to pay $140,000, right? So I say, all right, I'll get your aunt's house under contract, right, for $100,000, and I may put 10% down. I may put 1% down, 3.5% down, 5% down. It's all whatever you. Some people put no money down.
And still have it under contract?
Right.
Yeah, because the contract, you now you have what's called equitable rights to the property. That's what the contract does.
Right.
So it's like, all right, the contract, hey, listen, I'm going to give you $100,000 in 30 days or 45 days, 60 days. But I'm going to use my title company and I'm not going to put $1 down on it, right? But I'm going to get it done very fast for you, right? And you trust me because me and your nephew have been close friends and you trust me, right? So I get it under contract. I now have an equitable interest in that property.
And in that contract, that person can't sell it to anybody else.
You can't
for
sell
30 days.
For whatever the term
is.
It's a contract.
Okay. For whatever the duration of the
So
term.
just like you sign to a label. You
right.
can't release an album and make money off of your likeliness for whatever the term of that. So 30 days, 45 days, 60 days. I have that property under contract. I have an equitable interest in that property, right? So the equitable interest is anything anyone's willing to pay over $100,000, that's mine. Yeah. So that's essentially what wholesaling is. It's contract flipping. It's I get a contract on this property. I then assign that contract, flip that contract to somebody else for the difference.
And then you keep the difference.